before I get going any further, let me back up here a minute. Let me show you how I've got things configured. As you can see here on the screen, I'm using Panel Pro 310.1. At the time that I've recorded this, that was the latest version, and they recommended that you have your system set up for Java version 1.8 or things weren't going to work right. And going forward from this point on, the JMRI team says you have to have Java 1.8, so why fight it? I use a Linux system, GCC system, so everything's called ExpressNet, and some of the signal names you'll see start with the X because that represents the ExpressNet. Now let's move a little forward. Let me show you how I've kind of set things up. When I call, wrong one, when the JMRI gets installed, it goes to, I'm on an XP machine, so it went to Program Files and created the folder called JMRI and installs all its standard files. Okay, so we're working with signals, and I needed to show you where things were located. So we'll first go in and we'll look at the XML files. Okay, so we open that folder up, you'll see signals. Okay, and if you open up the signals, you'll see all the folders. Each one represents a prototype of signals. And I started out with the prototype of CSX 1998. You'll notice that I renamed that and put my last name in front of the folder. I did that as a double check on my test. When I moved things, I wanted to make sure that all my links were correct, and that in no way was I linking back to this CSX folder. So by renaming it, there was no way it could find it. Something would be corrupt and not work if it was attempting to come back to this folder. Okay. Inside then is an XML file, I'm sorry, of each type of appearance that a CSX signal head could generate. So you can take time, go back down through each one of these, okay, and look at them. We'll open these up in a little bit, and to view that XML file, I found a freebie program called fox.exe, and let's open it up here real quick. Okay, and we'll just go to the About, and I'll let you see the About and where you can go get this program at www.firstobject.com. Okay, and it works well. You'll see it working here in a few minutes. So that's where all the XML files for signals is contained. Let's back up a little bit. We'll come out of XML and we'll go into resources, icons, and we want to go to the small schematics. Okay, and then under small schematics we have aspects. The clue there, of course, is the aspect is a word associated with signaling. Okay, and then you can look down through here. Here's CSX 1998 aspects. Okay, so if I highlight one of them, let me go over here. Just use thumbnails for a minute. There you go. You can see these are the icons for each of the rules in the rule book for this prototypical signaling. So this is what I start with right here, and I had to take them, of course, into my editor and take the closest one and edit it down to what I needed. Okay, and let's see, I started with 3.2 high, right, and I wiped out the bottom two aspects, or the bottom signal head, and replaced it with a searchlight. Okay, and I was warned, of course, that if you do all these modifications and you leave them here, when JMRI releases the next version, it's going to come in, it's going to write over these files. So anything you've modified will be lost with the next update. Uh, that could be a rather time-consuming problem. So they recommend that you don't put anything here, that you put it somewhere safe. And of course, JMRI helps you out with that by going to Documents and Settings, finding the appropriate logged in user, and creating a JMRI file for you. And the name of my railroad is the Hiawatha, so it created the Hiawatha. And here you can see this is where all the panels and profiles that you create, any rosters that you create, any throttles that you create are all stored here for you. That way they're not destroyed during an update. Okay, so what I did was I went to the standard files and I copied these resources and created a folder in my area called Resources, Icons. You'll see the file structure looks very similar, right? Small schematics, CXX98, and then here's the folders for my signals. Okay, these are um, standard little icons. Okay, let's see if I can get the one that I used here, 3-2 high. Okay, thumbnails. Okay, 3-2 high. I guess I got the wrong one there. 3 high, 3 low. Thumbnails. There you go. There's the 3 low. Okay. And there's the green one that I created. It says it's green, right? But in fact, it's yellow, right? And here's the red one that I created, and here's the yellow one that I created. And I renamed them. The rest of them are the standard, typical ones that you'll find. Okay, so the modified icons that I made, I put into these folders. Okay, and here's the 3-1 that I created. Right, you can see there's 3/1, so I have a green, a yellow, and a red. Okay, with the bottom hit black for the green and the yellow. So that's where I stored my custom icons. And then under Resources, Signals, CSX1998, you see I have XML files here. Okay, but you notice I only have 3. Those are the 3 that I modified or created as I needed them. I do have a home folder, and in there is all the original CSX 1998 that I based it on. So if I ever need to go back to one of them, no matter even if they update, I still have a copy of what I used. Okay? So we'll take a minute here and we'll go into a little bit of detail about these and what I produced. Okay? Let's start with the 3 low. And all I'm going to do is drag over and drop it into my XML editor and open it up. Let's go full screen so it's easier to concentrate on. Okay, it was copyrighted, of course, and there's author group, and each author that participated creates his own. So I was the last one, so I created my little author block. Okay, and if I ever send it to somebody, they know who it came from and how to contact me. Revision history, my little revision alert down here is when I did it, revision 2, the date, my initials modified for custom use with Jim and Lydia's Hiawatha layout. Okay, name, signal 2-color light dwarf. Okay, loosely based on the CSX transportation signal rules, very loosely. Okay, but this is how you go about setting things up and getting started. Um, yeah, I guess if you wanted to, you could skip all that, but I think it's nice to keep the file up to date. Next, you go into the appearances, and you can look at all the different appearances. Um, I'm going to actually move over to the right-hand side of the screen here now to talk a little bit about the appearances. You can see that the XML file has a block called appearances, and way down the page it ends. Okay, end of appearances here. But each individual appearance has its own block as well. So to show the appearance show clear, it says show green. Okay, that's telling the logic to show the green output. And that's according to this reference rule. Okay, and it links it to a graphics file right here. Right? I mean, there. And you can see that I linked it to a green GIF file. Well, remember the one that I modified I showed you is truly yellow. It wasn't green in color. But I just left it green in name to help the flow of the logic here in the program. What I did though here is the secret right here is that using the proper Windows format, I backed out of the standard JMRI folders and came back up the tree structure till I got to my block, okay, my subfolder. Then I went back in and I went into my resources, my icons, my small schematics, my aspects, my CSX 1998, CLS3 low green GIF. Okay, so I'm calling up my modifile file and not using the standard JMI MRI structure. Okay, and I did that again here for the yellow, and I did it again for the red. Okay, the restricting, I should say, right? The slow approach, the restricting, and the stop. You see, I've linked them all to my icons. Okay, so we can see how appearances work and how to link them somewhere where you want them to be. Aspect mapping, there's all kinds of aspects available under the rules. As model railroaders, we don't use very many of them, but JMRI team has been real thorough to follow the rules, so they've mapped every aspect rule that was in the book. We'll just open one up here. Clear is show the aspect slow clear. Okay, so if I highlight that, you see that I'm under the aspect clear. Okay, our aspect is slow clear. Okay, so if you go back up to the appearance, for slow clear, right here, see it says show green, so it's going to turn on the green output. Okay, and it's going to link to my green file. Okay, so that covers clear. And we're going to skip way down here to the bottom. Okay, our aspect of slow approach. Okay, slow approach, you see all these are set to slow approach, right? So actually what I'll be using is the medium approach, okay? Instead of the restricting, I'll be using medium approach. The medium approach is linked back to our appearance for slow approach. So if I go back up here again to appearances, and there's slow approach, it says show green. Again, it turns on the green output, but I have it linked to the yellow folder, yellow graphic, I should say. Okay, and last but not least, okay, is the aspect stop, okay, which is linked to stop. And again, if I go back up to appearances, mapping aspect, appearance for stop, right here, show red, it turns on the opposite output, okay, for the red LED, and I have it linked to the red GIF file. So I'm using the two outputs, but I'm using them independently. I never show them together. So I never create that phony looking yellow and red LED on my table. Okay, that's how I modified that file. I simply just tell it to use one output at a time. Basically, this is what I did when I mapped my 3/1 signal heads. So I'm not going to go into those details for that signal head. Just to let you see how one works. I think that gives you an idea of what's happening in there. So let's